Good morning. Good morning. We are now live on Facebook and YouTube. Apologies for the delay. Good to see you all logging on. We'll just give it a few moments. Okay, let's welcome all of you that have logged on now to Facebook and greeted us. Hi, Sherilyn Diamond, Larry Cohen, good morning, and Hack Boker Tov. Felicia Jenks, thank you. Appreciate the feedback. Norman Stain, I'm happy you enjoyed the program yesterday. Great. Marlene Scher, David Ginsburg, Ruth Kaplan. Morning, good morning. Hi, Helen Feinstein. Good stuff. Good to see you all. That's on Facebook. I see you still logging on. So keep those greetings coming through. On YouTube, we have Manfred Kalmek, Dennis Solomons, Shelley Smith. Good morning. Moira Dworkin, Stan Brasgam, Raylene, Ronnie Kotkis, Vega Sega, David Seif, Boker Tov. A great day. I hope you had a easy and meaningful fast for you and your family. And we're back online for another session of daily learning and lockdown inspiration. We're just going to give it one more minute to allow for people to still log on. And we're going to get going in just a moment. So just bear with us for a moment and we're going to get going. Thank you all for being here with us this morning on a fantastic morning. It's sunny, it's bright, it's light. We're after the 9 days, heading towards Shabbos. So that's a fantastic transformation of time from days of mourning. The moment we leave the 9 days, we now enter into the days of comfort, into the days of celebration, and we start building towards the high holidays, Yom Tov, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. So we're in a good part of the year right now. Hi, Arnold Orkin. Good morning. And thank you for joining. I did see a few other people who commented on other sessions. If you're listening, I think Shulamit Schultz, you were listening and you commented to another session. Just log out of that one and come into this one, which is Friday. I made a mistake in the date, I think. It's Friday, 31st of July, not 1st of August. Apologies for that mistake in the date. Okay, we'll correct that after the session. All right. So coming up in the Shabbos laning of Va'et Chanan, this week's parsha, there's a few highlights that I wanted to focus on. First of all, it's called Shabbos Nachamu. Shabbos Nachamu. Why? Because the Haftarah is Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami. It's a famous Haftarah. In fact, it's my father's Bar Mitzvah Parsha, Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami, which focuses on the comfort of the Jewish people. And as Good Shabbos Ian, and as we leave Tisha B'Av yesterday, and we move on into the rest of the month of Av, we focus now on Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami, which is the comfort of the Jewish people. It's a very, very powerful time. Thank God we've managed to overcome the 9 days, to live through the 9 days, to learn from the experiences of the 9 days. But now we're ready to embrace the upcoming weeks of month of Av, heading towards Elul, and it's now Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami. It's the comfort of the Jewish people, which we really need so much during this time. In addition to Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami, we also focus this week in the parsha on the Kriyat Shema, and we spoke about that at the beginning of the week. Different highlights of the Kriyat Shema. What I want to focus on today more specifically is another highlight of this Shabbos. And it's the highlight, it's the reading of the Ten Commandments. It's the reading of the Ten Commandments. The Aseres HaDibros. And let's try and highlight a couple of important points from the Ten Commandments that I wanted to share with you. The last of the Ten Commandments I find so relevant to now. What's the 10th commandment? The 10th commandment, yes, thanks, Eleanor. Welcome aboard, Eleanor Kotkas. I know I've made a mistake in the date. I apologize. I was ahead of myself. Thought it's the 1st of August, but I'll correct that after we're done. 31st of July. Hi, Arlene Udelovitz. Thank you. Good morning. Apologies for the slip. Okay, we got over 35 viewers here this morning between Facebook and YouTube, so welcome aboard. We're focusing now on the 10th commandment of the Aseres HaDibros. What is the 10th commandment? Lo tachmod, don't desire, don't covet the belongings of your friend. And I want to start with that because I think there's a very, very relevant message here from that 10th commandment. What's the message? Well, look at the wording. Look at the wording. The wording is, don't covet your man's wife, nor may you crave your fellow man's, your friend's house or field or servant or maidservant or ox or donkey. So the verse lists, and it goes through a number of different categories and items that my friend may have that I want to have. But then listen to the ending. The ending says, V'chol asher l'reacha, and anything else that belongs to your friend, that too you should not covet or be jealous of. Now, seemingly we've covered everything already. The verse elaborated, it listed everything. The verse said, the house, the field, the servant, the maidservant, the wife, the ox, the donkey, everything's included in the list of things that we should not covet or want of our friend. So then why must the verse conclude and say, and everything else that belongs to your friend? What else is missing from that verse? What else does the verse need to include? And everything else that is missing from everything else that belongs to your friend. We know everything already. We've listed everything already. What's that ending got to teach me? What's that powerful message at the end? And everything else that belongs to your friend. Before I get to the answer, hi, Stephen Herr, and yes, we'll dedicate the learning for your mother, Esther Bat Moshe. Good morning, Lionel Rubin and Bernice Krause also just logged on. Thank you very much. Good morning for being here. I don't know if you just logged on, but you just shared your greetings, so I'm happy you're sharing. Anybody else that's logging on now, please do share your greetings. Better late than never. So let's do that now. Share with us your greetings. We've got close to 40 viewers here between the two platforms of YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for being online. Good morning, Lauren Pimstein. Nice to have you online with us too. So I'll tell you the message. The message is that we are so often jealous. We so often want belongings of our friend. How come they have such an easy lifestyle? How come they have a holiday home that we want? How come they manage to afford a car or two cars that we would like? I also want their house. I also want their holiday home. I also want their car. I also want their lifestyle of living. So often we do that, right? But what we don't realize is what else are they carrying? What else do they have that we're not focusing on? What challenges and difficulties are they going through that we don't necessarily focus on or think about? Hi, Jaime and Linda Drew and Brian Owen. Thank you for logging on and joining us. How come we don't focus on that? We focus a lot on what they do have. We don't focus at all on what they don't have. And so, right, in social position, Ian Clemenson says in the social position, look how involved they are, or influential they are, or how liked they are, or how popular they are. Exactly, Ian. So we often look at what they do have, but we don't focus on what they don't have. And Torah is reminding us in this particular commandment of the Ten Commandments, and that is you can't pick and choose. So it's very well and fine to focus on those things they do have, but what about the things that they don't have? Have you thought about that at all? We don't think about those things at all. And the verse says, V'chol asher l're'echa, and everything that belongs to your friend. Maybe go and look and think about everything else that belongs to him. Have you thought about that at all? So yeah, they got things that are attractive. They got things that you would like, but they also got things that you don't want. Have you thought about that at all? Well, we've got to realize that life is a package. God provides for us a package. It's a pekel. It's the Yiddish word. Each person has their pekel. And each person God gives what they need. And sometimes there are high points and low points. Sometimes there are things that we do have and we don't have. We can't pick and choose. I want to have his house, but his health. Because the guy with the nice house doesn't have good health. So I want to have his house, but with the health of the other guy, because his health is better. But that guy with good health doesn't have any kids. So I want the children of someone else because they've got children, right? We can't do that. God gives us a pekel. He gives us a package. And he says, here's your package. Here's your package. And your package will consist of highs and lows, or consists of things you have and things you don't have. V'chol asher l're'echa, and everything that belongs to your friend. Don't just look at his house or his ox or his donkey or his maidservant or his servant or his wife, because you don't know what lies on the back end of all that. You don't know what he doesn't have in comparison to what he does have. And then, so maybe stop and think, well, I know he has a nice holiday home, but he doesn't have good health, or he's got difficulty at work, or she is divorced and doesn't have a spouse to spend that time with, or a widow, widower. There's so many different categories of society, so many different aspects of a person's life. Let's not be short-sighted, says the 10th commandment. Don't be short-sighted, but realize that we have a pekel. And when we start realizing that, we start to recognize our own blessings. We start to recognize things that we do have and we're not yet grateful for. And we should become more grateful for those elements in our lives that we do have. Let's not focus on what we don't have. Let's focus on what we do have. And vice versa, when we start thinking about someone else, let's not focus on what they do have. Maybe start to realize what they don't have. And that way it levels out society. It levels out society because not everyone has everything. That's the reality of life. Not everybody has everything. Let's remember that. That's what the 10th commandment is reminding me. In particular, this is an important lesson during COVID. Because one of the things that COVID did was level out society in a major, major way. Sometimes in more unpleasant ways than pleasant ways. Sometimes in ways that we would not have chosen had we had the choice. But the reality is that the world has now leveled out. What Hashem has done through COVID-19, suddenly healthy people who had no health issues have now become unhealthy. People who have struggled with their health have miraculously recovered from the virus. Financially, people who were stable or doing well, were influential financially, are now struggling with their wealth and finding it very difficult with the current lockdown. Whereas people who struggled with wealth or finances, their businesses have in some instances blown out of the roof And they've suddenly found comfort through the crisis. Ironically, it suddenly leveled out the playing field. Even among countries. So Maureen and Robert Lee says the only way to keep that mitzvah is to count our blessings every day and do hakarat hatov. Absolutely. That's the answer to that 10th commandment. The way not to covet someone else's belongings is to recognize that life is a peckle, it's a package, and we have blessings that we should be grateful for. Let's not focus on what we don't have. Let's focus on what we do have. Exactly. And even in terms of countries, for so long, there's been competition and jealousy and between countries. You know, you have safety and you have domestic help and you have financial stability and your currency is strong and your currency is weak. And in your country, you can afford houses and in your country, you can't afford houses. Suddenly, the COVID situation has leveled out the playing field, even between countries. America was a superpower. Manhattan was a superpower. And now, not so simple. Suddenly, we come to recognize and to be grateful for our own country here in South Africa, because we have our benefits. We have our blessings. We have our trouble too. We have our problems as well. But no country is free of trouble or problems. Australia is now going through a 6-week lockdown. That means no work. Well, unless you can work from home. 6-week lockdown. Can you imagine? Is that a blessing or is that a curse? I don't know. But every country has now leveled out. Hi, Daryl and Shelley. Daryl Smith writes, I will take the liberty of honoring my dearly departed mother. Yes, we wish you long life for the loss of your mum. And my father, who were never interested in the Joneses. Yes. Well, amazing message. What does the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot say? The Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says, Ezehu Ashir. Who is the wealthy person? How do you define wealthy? Ashir. Well, let's face it, guys. Wealth and finances is not the definition of wealth. Because you got many people that have wealth and finances, but are not happy, or have pain in their lives, or have loss in their lives, or have death in their lives, or have sickness in their lives. That's what the pasuk, the verse is saying in the 10th commandment. What is wealthy? How do you define wealthy? Short-sighted people, immature people think wealthy is wealth, financial wealth. Boy, oh boy, that's not so simple, because it could be someone who has wealth, financial stability, but is missing out on so much more. And it could be someone who has children, family, health, but doesn't have financial wealth and is yet considered rich. Rich with nachas, rich with pride, rich with simcha and joy in their homes. David Ginsburg says, wealth is good health. Absolutely. Wealth is good health. And Stephen Herr says, good one, wealth is spiritual wealth. Right, good. Wealth is spiritual wealth, meaning how many people have financial wealth but don't have any sense of purpose or mission in their lives, and they're depressed and anxious entire lives. When we have purpose, when we have meaning, we have spiritual wealth. That's real wealth. I'm going to pause here for a moment and ask those of you on Facebook to like this video and share it so that others can benefit as well from the learning that we're involved in. There's a beautiful phrase which I often try to think of throughout my life. It says that when it comes to physical matters, one should look at those who are lower than him or her, meaning have less than us. And when it comes to spiritual matters, we should look at people that have more than us. Why? Because when it comes to spiritual matters, we should try to aspire to more. Don't ever feel content. Don't feel wealthy when it comes to spiritual matters. Feel hungry. Want more when it comes to spiritual matters. So look at someone who has more than you and say, I want more than I have. I want like they have. They're attending to tefillin or to davening more than me. I want to do the same. They're observing Shabbos more than me. I want to do the same. Aspire. Target someone who has more than you, and look up to them and learn from them and want and aim to achieve like them. But when it comes to physical matters, financial matters, material matters, don't look at someone who has more than you, because you never know their package. It's a waste of time. You never know their peckle that they're dealing with. But rather look at someone who has less than you and say, I am so grateful for what I have, and I actually want to even share with them. And suddenly when you do that approach, you become a wealthy man. You become a wealthy man. You should feel so blessed. You should feel so blessed of what you have because somebody else next door to you doesn't have it. You should feel so blessed. And don't just feel blessed personally, but find ways of sharing what you have with someone else. That's the message of this pasuk, of this verse, of this 10th commandment, which is such a powerful commandment. When do we do that? So let me go to the commandment of number 4, because I think this has so much to do with it. The commandment number 4 is keeping Shabbos. Shabbos has that ability to bring into our lives gratitude. And that's the 4th commandment, keeping Shabbos, observing Shabbos. 6 days of the week you shall work, and on the 7th day you shall rest. It's interesting that the commandment says you shall work. Why is that important to tell us that? The commandment really is you shall rest. That's the commandment. Why is it necessary to tell me, and you shall work for 6 days of the week? And the answer is because when you put in the effort, then you appreciate it all on Shabbos. Meaning to say, Shabbos affects the 6 days of the week of the material, of the physical. How do you gain an appreciation of the material, of the physical that you have? How do you gain an appreciation of the fields and the donkeys and the horses and the cars and the shoes and the clothes that you have? It's by associating all of that to Shabbos. So that's why the verse includes the two in one verse. 6 days of the week you shall work, and then comes the Shabbos. If you can connect Shabbos to the 6 days of the week, the 6 days of the material, then you'll come to appreciate what it's all about, because Shabbos is the connection to Hashem. Shabbos is the connection to our Creator. Shabbos is the connection to God who provides for us. Shabbos teaches us gratitude. And so when we connect the 6 days of the week with Shabbos, we gain the lesson of gratitude, of Hakarat HaTov, of recognizing and appreciating everything we have from Sunday to Friday. We start to appreciate it on Shabbos. How do I know that Shabbos is the message of gratitude? Because it ends and it says, and you should remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and God took you out with a yad chazakah, a strong hand, and therefore he asks you to keep Shabbos. That's what the Torah says. We keep Shabbos to remember that we were once slaves and now we are free. That means we have to recognize and appreciate that which we have, not that which we don't have. That which we have. We are a free people living in a free country. Yes, we have our troubles, and we have our problems, and we have our politics, and we have our corruption. We all know that. But that's not a sign of a wealthy man. A wealthy man is one who can sit back and appreciate that which we do have in comparison to those that don't necessarily have it. And so that's the focus of the 4th commandment as well as the 10th commandment and how they go hand in hand. Shabbos is the message of gratitude. Let's realize that life is a peckle, and we should be grateful for the peckle that we have, because nobody else has a peckle as good as ours. For me, they've got a peckle for them, but that's good for them, not good for me. My peckle is good for me, and I should be grateful for that. And so I'm grateful. I want to stop for a moment and recognize I'm grateful for all of you for giving me a sense of purpose, a sense of growth every day at 10:30 in the morning. It brings structure to my morning. It brings excitement to my morning. I'm able to welcome you personally onto these sessions and greet you as you greet us and share with you and engage with you. It really gives me a sense, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you. We've got over 45 viewers here today, which is unbelievable. And I'm very grateful for those who have logged on and stayed on with us and been part of the learning journey this week through Sunday through to Friday, which is unbelievable. We had Rebbetzin Esti on Sunday, and then I did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we had Tisha B'Av program yesterday, and again learning today. It's been phenomenal. And so thank you, and let's be grateful, and let's say thank you. And we'll be back on our learning sessions. It gives two to tango. That's right, Brian. So we're here together in this. So we continue, please God, on Sunday morning with our daily learning on YouTube and Facebook Live. In the meantime, we've got fantastic Zoom programs lined up, including a musical pre-Kabbalat Shabbat, which is going to be an unbelievable afternoon this afternoon on our Zoom program. If you want to find it, you can go to sidshul.coza/Zoom, and you can join us there. Otherwise, follow the links on all the various groups. And I wish you a Shabbat Shalom to you and your families. Keep safe, keep sane, keep spiritual, keep strong. Another S, keep strong. And a wonderful Shabbos to you and your families. All the best. Shabbat Shalom.